Psychology distinguishes between hostile and benevolent sexism. Hostile sexist, sometimes called old-fashioned sexism. Hostile sexists believe that women are inferior to men, belong in traditional subordinate roles, and see women as more sex objects. They display a noted defensiveness in that they tend to believe that women are interested in dominating and controlling men. This image is of a famous movie that was made from a famous play. And do you recognize it? What play was it? This play was Streetcar Named Desire. Stanley, the character that was played by Marlon Brando in the movie, displays hostile sexism. Hostile sex is, so remember, hostile sex is the old-fashioned form of sexism. It still exists, but in reduced numbers, and is practiced more underground today. The growing lack of acceptance for hostile sexism has unfortunately not eliminated sexism, but rather created a new kind. Benevolent sexists believe that women are refined objects to be idolized, adored, protected, and cared for. They believe that women are emotionally weaker, so they need protection from men, that men should sacrifice for and protect them. They tend to believe that women are morally stronger, and when women fail to meet this abnormally high standard, they tend to polarize them, leading to what is referred to as the Madonna whore complex, the tendency to see women as Madonnas or whores. The aging singer Madonna, by the way, chose her name with cynicism, right? It is important to realize that both forms of sexism characterize women as objects, promote inferior traditional subordinate roles for women, and enforce a system of patriarchy where women have less power and less access to resources. Benevolent sexism just does so in a more subtle way. And it's most important to note that more subtlety does not mean less damaging. Benevolent sexism is the most prevalent and persistent form of sexism today. It also tends to be more harmful than hostile sexism because of its subtlety. Because of it. First, because it is more disguised, it is more difficult to detect. Both men and women often have difficulty recognizing benevolent sexism compared to hostile sexism. Second, it often operates outside of awareness. Thus, it is more difficult to confront in others and ourselves because it is often disguised, even to the perpetrators themselves. Modern sexism, also known as benevolent sexism, is so subtle and veiled that many freshmen think sexism is over and that the Equal Rights Amendment is included in the Bill of Rights. That's true. Many freshmen come into college actually thinking that those things are true. Even many women endorse modern sexism because of the lack of the same access to resources without a man taking care of them. Many women find benevolent sexism to be flattering and desirable, and thus actively seek and encourage it. Gender stereotypes have resulted in discrimination against women. It's created a wage gap, encouraged violence against women, and resulted in mostly men making legislation regarding women's issues, etc. Gender stereotypes have resulted in discrimination also against men, as seen in bullying and even murder of boys who aspire to certain professions, such as professional hairstylists. and the difficulty often realized by fathers in being granted equal child custodial rights, and the number of men in counseling for lack of communication skills, harming their marital and father-child relationships. Gender discrimination has hurt both genders, not to mention men who realize that discrimination against their partner has adverse effects on the entire family. Because of research showing many benefits of androgyny to both genders, there has been a slow but steady progression toward the rejection of gender stereotypes and roles and the movement towards goals of androgyny. Androgyny refers to having high scores on both sets of skills and traits, agentic and communal. Remember those? Put them back up on this slide for you in case you haven't. So androgyny refers to having high scores on both sets of skills and traits. Research has found that individuals whose scores indicate androgyny tend to be liked better by others and to be more psychologically healthy overall, regardless of gender. Behm's androgyny scale divides people into 4 distinctions. Masculine and feminine sex typed are gender stereotype reflections. So masculine sex-typed individuals score high on agentic traits and skills and low on communal ones. And feminine sex-typed individuals score the reverse, high on communal, low on agentic. They are aptly named, both of these, sex-typed, reflecting the limitations experienced by actors who get typecast into certain roles. In other words, the term sex-typed refers to a lack of flexibility and the limitations that come with this. The term undifferentiated, the 3rd category into which Behm's scale differentiates people, reflects individuals who score low on both agentic and communal traits and skills. And the term androgynous reflects individuals who score relatively high on both. Again, research has found that individuals whose scores indicate androgyny tend to be liked better by others and to be more psychologically healthy overall, regardless of gender. If you are interested how you would score on Behm's androgyny scale, you can take and score it by copying and pasting the link at the bottom of this slide. Although gender stereotypes are still particularly prevalent in ads, especially those that show a man or woman in a particular occupation, most marketers have responded to outcries against stereotypes. Among these responses, at worst, gender stereotyping has been more subtle. At best, marketers' hedonistic goals have led them to break gender boundaries. A significantly higher number of models with androgynous appearances have been donning more current ads. And although Europe is way ahead of the US in this regard, more US marketers are making real attempts at marketing what are still often seen as gender stereotypic products to both genders. For instance, Harley-Davidson has modeled more women owners in its ads, and since has built their female consumer base to 12%. Now, that's a far cry from the 51% of women represented in the US population, but a consumer base that was practically non-existent in earlier days and is growing. And it wasn't so long ago when most straight men wouldn't dream of buying a hair product. Now, hair mousses and other such products have a large straight male client base.